The Houston Texans defense must show Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams how hot it can get down here in Texas.
Hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work, work. There you go. Hard work, work. Everybody doing it right. Hard work, work, work. That's what you say. Hard work, work, work. Earn more pay. Hard work, work. Hard work, do it every day. Hard work, work. Get up out of quarter to three. Hard work, work. Let me go and earn my pay. Hard work, work. Boots on and lace.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? You're tuning into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. And make sure you follow me on the Tick and the Talk at Big Sarge Media. Hold on, I got to do something. There we go. Hello, handsome. How are you doing? Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you're reading all my articles at www.bigsargemedia.com. All right, listen, hold on. Before I get started. So for those of you all who follow me, right? For those of y'all who follow me, you know that I go to the gym in the mornings. I go to the gym in the morning because I always make sure that I post a picture from the gym. And posting that picture from the gym isn't a flex. I'm not trying to flex. Not trying to flex at all. I'm trying to give somebody else the motivation to be able to get started. You never know. It's never, I put that up this morning. It's never too late to start. People who tell you that just making an excuse for them not to start themselves. So the picture that I post in the mornings of me at the gym, it's not a flex. That's just letting you know, one, I'm up. Two, good morning. Three, it's never too late. It's never too late to start. And if I can do it, you definitely can do it. So it's not a flex. It's just motivation. Hey, man, I'm here. Let's do this thing together. Matter of fact, for those of y'all who follow me, if you want to post your pictures of you in the gym, going to the gym, working out at home, taking a walk, doing something, doing some type of activity, just tag me in it. Tag me in it, and I promise you I will respond. Some I will even retweet. So going to the gym, once again, it's not a flex for me. It's just me taking care of myself, saying good morning, being motivation for some others. Because I noticed that when I don't post, I'll get, I'll get text messages, or when I have conversations with people, they'll be like, hey, why you didn't post a picture this morning? So, okay, you got it, right? Cool. Some people have even told me that me posting those pictures has helped to motivate them. So, but I ain't here to talk about all of that, even though I just told you all that. Hey, I'm gonna need some of y'all to have some better gym etiquette, right? And what I mean by having some better gym etiquette, hey, if you know you got gas, if you know your stomach hurt, if you know that your diet may not be the best, if you know that you ate bad that morning, last night, if you know you ate bad that morning, if you ever got something that's, what's up, Grizz? If you know that your stomach ain't right and you're gonna be passing gas, hey, stop crop dusting people. Stop crop dusting people. Y'all know what crop dusting is? That's walking by somebody and passing gas. All right, look, right here on Sports Talk with Big Sarge show, we keep it real. That's walking by somebody and farting, and especially the silent ones. But also, some of y'all think because people got headphones on that they're always listening to something. I found out, and I've even done it myself sometimes. Sometimes you just have the headphones on. Sometimes I have my headphones on. I don't even have nothing playing. I may be looking for something. I may be looking for something, or I may just want to do a rep silently, so I can still hear what's going on. So some of y'all think because other people got headphones, you can just walk by and fart as loudly as you want to. Another thing, hey, in order to prevent crop dusting, pass gas where you are. Stand there for a second. Shake it out. Shake it out. Shake it out. Let it get loose. Because if you pass gas and you start walking, it's still in there. So you're lingering. You're leaving that smell behind. Hold on for a second. Let me put this up with Keith saying, man, nah, you getting all this work out here. Y'all done took a protein shake, and what happens is collateral damage. No, man, you ain't got to crop dust. If I'm on the machine and I'm leaning right here, you know you got to walk in front of me. Why are you crop dusting me? Why? Why are you walking in front of me and crop dusting me? Now, okay, because I noticed on yesterday that I have, you know, some younger people who listen to sports talk with Big Sarge and they don't know what crop dusting is. Hey, you know, it's like when the planes are flying over the fields and it has the produce and the vegetables and all that, and they're putting out the pesticides from the plane. And you see that smoke coming from the plane going over the field. That's crop dusting. You're dusting the crop. And so when somebody walks past you and they fart, even though you can't see it, you can still smell it. And if we keeping it 100, if we keeping it a buck, women are the worst. I've come to find out that women crop dust way more than men do. Yeah. 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 Once again, you're tuned to the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. I'm your host, Big Sarge. All right, let's go ahead and hop right into this thing. So the Houston Texans are playing a primetime game on Sunday night. Most of you all already know that against the Chicago Bears. They will be playing at, what is it, 7:30? I don't even know the time. I just know it's Sunday night football, and I know that I'm going to have a long day. Yo, let's keep it clean. Hey, man, that's what I be trying to tell them too in the gym. I can't help it if they gonna pass by me. And anyway, another thing. Hey, for some of you people that's taking Ozempic, you might want to you might want to research and you'll realize that some of that stuff in your stomach is decaying because that Ozempic ain't getting to it and your body's not breaking it down. So when you pass gas, yeah. I digress. The Houston Texans will take on the Chicago Bears in a week 2 matchup at NRG Stadium on Sunday night. And I feel like the Houston Texans, and I've said this before on this show, I feel like the Houston Texans are playing a carbon copy of themselves, right? I feel like the Chicago Bears and what the Chicago Bears is doing and the team that they're trying to build. Now, on yesterday when we talked with Houston Texans beat reporter for the Houston Chronicle, Jonathan M. Alexander, I brought this up and I said that Chicago is trying to build themselves like a carbon copy, like the Texans 2.0, right? And especially on offense. When you got Caleb Williams, they want him to be CJ Stroud, DeAndre Swift. Yeah, wide receivers Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Roma Dunzier, who may or may not play. We'll get into that just a little bit later on. But that the way that they're building this Chicago Bears team, it's almost like they're using the blueprint of what General Manager Nick Caserio and head coach D'Amico Ryans is doing to build this Houston Texans franchise into a successful winning franchise. I mean, a lot of people, and we've talked about this before, once again, we've talked about how the Houston Texans overachieved on last season. A lot of people looked at them and said that they couldn't believe that they won the AFC South, couldn't believe that they won a wild card playoff game, couldn't believe that they made it to the postseason, couldn't believe they won the AFC South, couldn't believe they beat the Cleveland Browns, a team who had came in that same NRG stadium and blew them out of the water. Well, I mean, but they ain't have CJ either, so that was kind of different. Because when CJ came back, we know how that story ended. And they took the Baltimore Ravens. They had them 10-10 in the divisional round of the playoffs before, giving up a lot of points in the second half and eventually losing that game. So a lot of people will believe that they overachieved. A lot of people will believe that the Houston Texans overachieved, right? And from the outside looking in, some of them say, hey, we didn't expect them to be that way. But that's a lot of the analysts and the fans. What a lot of these teams were doing, what a lot of general managers are doing, they were looking at the Houston Texans in a whole different light. Okay, so wait. Here's a franchise that has been in disarray and has adversity, had a lot of things going on. Side note, I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but I told y'all about the quarterback that used to play here, the former quarterback who wore number 4. Yeah, I remember when I was telling you all about what was going on, and I kept telling you there's more. I was on In the Trenches with Indy Kalu at the time, on his radio show, and I kept saying there's more. And what has happened this past week? He got accused again of something that happened in 2020. And listen to me when I tell you this. There's more. As some of these statute of limitations start to run out, there's going to be more accusations levied at um, Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson. And that's sad because of the multiple women that he was that attorney Tony Busby brought to the forefront. What was it, 22, 26 women? I mean, if we keeping it, if we keeping it 100, probably could have brought like 50, 60 cases. There's a lot. There's a lot. Now, to be fair to Deshaun Watson, some of these people are just jumping on the bandwagon. Some of these people are like, hey, looking for a quick lick. If you're from Houston, you know what that means. When I mean a quick lick, that means that kind of like, let me break it down in this term, kind of like what you just seen in the past week with the Chase Bank ATM glitch, trying to make a come up, trying to get something quick, trying to get quick money, kind of like, trying to get quick money. So some of them are seeing Deshaun Watson as a mark, but I digress. It's gonna be more. Y'all just stay tuned. But like I was saying, the Houston Texans organization had went through a lot of adversity and turmoil for 3 years, and then all of a sudden they're back in the news. They're back in the sports news. They're back as, being that franchise who they once were. Now you're hearing about the Houston Texans every time you turn around. You're hearing about CJ Stroud. You're hearing about Will Anderson Jr. You're hearing about Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Derek Stingley Jr., Jalen Petrie. Like, you're hearing about Kenyon Green. You're hearing about these people, right? And so these GMs, they look at that and they say, okay, so hold on, time out. What is he doing? What is Nick Caserio doing down there in Houston that has turned this franchise around? And that's how GMs look. GMs look at that. They're looking at, head coach DeMeco Ryans said this, that the NFL is a copycat league. And it is. Y'all remember when the Wildcat formation first came out and how great that Wildcat formation was, how you had a running back playing quarterback, he hiked the ball and, they hiked the ball to him and he could go which way or he could even pass out of that, but it was unstoppable until it wasn't. Because everybody started to do it and then they figured out how to stop it. It's a copycat league. And so that's what these general managers are doing now when they're looking at the Houston Texans and they're saying, we want what the Houston Texans have as far as building this, rebuilding their franchise and rebuilding a foundation, a solid foundation that can work for a very long time. The only thing that I can see derailing this Houston Texans organization in the next 5 to 7 years is that they won't be able to pay everybody. They won't be able to pay everybody unless Kyle McNair, owner of the Houston Texans, can find some way to manipulate those numbers. Him and Nick Caserio and their team can find some way to manipulate their numbers, because they gotta pay. They're gonna have to pay a lot of people. With all the talent that they have, they're going to have to pay a lot of people. And that's the only thing that I can see that could derail this Houston Texans organization right now, especially if they stay healthy. So the Chicago Bears are looking at that and saying, hey, same way, Caleb Williams, like CJ Stroud, DeAndre Swift, hey, Joe Mixon, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. Oh, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs. They're building that, like I said, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So when the Houston Texans go into this matchup, when I say that they need to, when Texans defense must make Bears quarterback Caleb Williams feel that Texas heat, they've got to keep that pressure on him. They got to keep that pressure on them coming in, because in the last game, the Chicago Bears got down 17-0 to the Tennessee Titans before they came back and won 24-17. And they did that. They didn't do that because of Caleb Williams and the way that he played. They did that because their defense stepped up. They got a special team touchdown, a block punt for a touchdown by a former Houston Texans, Jonathan Owens. They got an interception that was returned for a touchdown, and they got 3 field goals, if I'm not mistaken. And so it wasn't the offense that was clicking on all cylinders. It was the special teams, and the defense was able to make those plays. Now, if you go back and you look at the game, I was looking at a couple of plays. I've been looking at that game and looking at some specific plays from that Titans Bears game. And one thing that I noticed was, and we said this before, Caleb Williams has to realize that this is the NFL, and you can't, what you were able to do when you were in college and get out of the pocket like that, you're not able to do that just yet. Now, I do believe that he will be able to do that as time goes on, as he gets more acclimated to being in the NFL. He'll be able to come back and use that type of his athleticism to get him to where he needs to be, like he did when he was in college. But right now, and the Bears don't have the greatest of offensive lines. And so when I'm watching those plays, what I'm watching is a lot of pressure being put on Caleb Williams, not giving him a lot of time to throw the ball. Not giving him a lot of time to throw the ball. And if he's without Rome Odunze, who had an MRI on his knee on Monday, and they don't know, he's day-to-day right now on today, Wednesday, they're going to give the results of that MRI, and they're going to say if he's playing this week or not. But without Rome Odunze, now you got to focus on Keenan Allen, and you have to focus on DJ Moore, who, by the way, are 2 really, really, really good wide receivers. But you have to be able to contain them. And in order to contain them, you have to contain Caleb Williams. Just like the game plan almost has to be similar to what you did with Anthony Richardson. Hey, keep him in the pocket. Don't let him get out. Keep pressure on him. Don't let him set his feet, or don't let him roll out, set his feet, or don't let him roll out and get comfortable with rolling out and being able to hit his wide receivers. Because there was a lot of plays, especially in that first and second quarter. Well, because I think Caleb Williams only ended with, 93 yards passing. Let me go back in my notes real quick. I think he only finished the game with 93 yards. Yes, 14 for 29 for 93 yards. So he only finished the game with 93 yards. And that's because the Tennessee Titans was making him throw a lot underneath. Like one of his plays, like his first pass play went for 1 yard. Then the next time he completed a pass, it was 5 yards. And I think that he had like an 11-yard pass to DJ Moore. Then it was like a 9-yard pass to Keenan Allen, but they didn't let him go deep. They didn't let him use it because Caleb Williams also has, just like Anthony Richardson, he has a big arm. Now he's to Sarge, listen, I know I have to say these things because when it get clipped up, I want you to know that Sarge is saying, in his opinion, in my opinion, and from what I see and from what I've been watching, Caleb Williams is a better passer, can make better throws than coach quarterback Anthony Richardson right now. Not to say that Anthony Richardson, in 2 years, we won't be talking about how he improved on his accuracy. Not to say that. Not to say that in 2 or 3 years, we could be talking about how Caleb Williams has taken a step back. I'm talking about right now. I think that Caleb Williams is a better passer than Anthony Richardson. And so you take that same approach. You can't allow these big plays like you did against the Colts. You can't allow a 60-yard pass. You can't allow a 54-yard touchdown pass. Both of those resulted in touchdowns. You can't have those type of mistakes. And when you're talking about a head coach like DeMeco Ryans and a defensive coordinator like Matt Burke, and you also have to look at these players take accountability for their mistakes. They watch them and they don't want to make them again. When you have the type of players that you have, excuse me, when you have the type of players that you have on the defensive side of the ball for the Houston Texans, they don't want to make those type of mistakes again because they don't want to be embarrassed. Like, here's the thing. These all I can do is talk about the Texans because that's who I cover. They have pride in what they do. And they don't want to be watching the film with their position group and with the team and watching and seeing themselves make mistakes. Now, I'm not saying that the mistakes ain't going to happen, but they don't want to watch and see themselves make those type of mistakes on film where everybody else can see. What they want to do is they want to sit there and they want to watch and they want everybody to see, hey, I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. And so what they had to learn from and take from that week 1 victory over the Colts, they were rusty. Of course, they got to get in sync and get to moving. And I'm talking about on both sides of the ball. That's why I said they got to put the heat on Caleb Williams. Because if they don't, he's going to have a field day. And you don't want this game, week 2, to be Caleb Williams' breakout game, because guess what? Now you're going to have to see it all over Sports Center, all over First Things First. You're going to have to hear about it on the radio. You're going to have to hear about it on social media. Everybody's going to go crazy and be like, we told you so. Didn't we tell you that Caleb Williams is the truth? These players don't want to hear that. They got social media. They watch these sports shows. Their parents watch the sports shows. Their friends watch the sports shows. Their girls watch their significant others watch these sports shows. They don't want to get embarrassed like that and have to keep reading and keep seeing these plays over and over and over again. So they have to keep that pressure on Caleb Williams because it's only his second game in the NFL. And just like with Anthony Richardson, you want to make it muddy for him. You don't want to give him any good looks. You don't want to give him a clean pocket. You don't want him to be able to see the field. That defensive front 4 has to put that pressure on him. Now, I don't think that the Bears have a better offensive line than what the Indianapolis Colts do. And some people are going to tell me that I'm wrong. I'm cool with that. Ain't no problem. I'm okay if you think that I'm wrong. But I don't think that the Bears, and watching them in this first game against the Titans, going back and watching film, they don't have no better. I had no better offensive line than the Colts. And that Colts offensive line didn't allow Will Anderson Jr. or Daniil Hunter to get a sack. Now, they allowed a lot of pressure, but they ain't allowed them to get a sack. So this week they gotta have some sacks. And so, with that being said, yeah, that's it for now. We're talking to practice starts today at 12:45. Then after that, I think at 1, I can't remember the time. Practice is today. We talked to head coach D'Amico Ryans today. We get to talk to a couple of players in the locker room. And then we'll be able to talk to CJ Stroud this afternoon. He's doing his press conference this afternoon. So I'll be back. Y'all know I'll be back. But I just wanted to make sure that we start out, looking at some of the looking at this matchup between the Chicago Bears. We started to talk in this is one of my keys to victory. One of my keys to victory is not allowing Caleb Williams to do what he wants to do. Because what he also wants to do is he does want to embarrass the Houston Texans. He does want people to talk about him like they talked about CJ Stroud in his rookie year. And what better way to do that than to come in here and defeat the Houston Texans and CJ Stroud? And like I said, those players don't want that. On prime time, on Sunday Night Football, where ain't nothing else going on. No more football is being played. All the football has been played for that day. And only the only game on at that time is your game. They don't want to be embarrassed like that. And these players take a lot of pride. So they got to stop Caleb Williams and then, go from there. When I come back, right? When I come back, not from a break, I'm talking about on the next episode of Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I think I'm going to dive into how that running game can replicate what it did on Sunday, maybe even more. You've been tuned into the Sports Talk with Big Sarge show. Make sure you follow me on the app formerly known as Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with the Z at the end. Follow me on the tick and the talk at Big Sarge Media. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel at Big Sarge Media and read my articles on www.bigsargemedia.com. I just looked at the time. I have somewhere to be at 9:30, and it's almost 10 after 9. I got to be there at 9:30. I'm going to be there at 9:30, but make sure you're following me on all the socials because you'll see what I had to rush for, especially if you're a Houston sports fan. Big Sarge, I'm out.